going on with the same sermon series, Red Flag. So this is what I entitled mine. It's red flag versus green flags. That is a real picture. I just took it before it came in. That's why I was a little late. My wife was laughing because my head stayed the same size. That's hilarious. But red flags versus green flags. Now, I'm going to just get into it, right? I don't want to take too much time, but just to get into it, I'm going to go ahead and define what a red flag is. I'm sure a lot of us already, or all of us already know what a red flag is. But red flag is an indicator or warning sign that signals a potential danger, problem, or unhealthy situations. Now, when I think of a red flag, well, what's something you guys think about when you hear a red flag? Let me just hear something. Toxic. What else? Dysfunctional. Okay. Danger. Exactly. Good ones. I think about that kickball game we had. Where we got cheated.
Hey, you was here with you. That's right. You're probably missed.
Nah, but I think about the way we were all acting. I'm like, oh, those were all red flags all over the place. But that was a fun time. But 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33, one of my favorite verses, right? One of the easiest ones to remember too, is do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good morals.
Red flag.
Now, red flag, right? In other words, what and who you surround yourself with can begin to determine who you become, right? Your crowd, your group, right? And Brother Rich talked about this a little bit in the last sermon. And, you know, the group that I was surrounded with, right? I started to identify myself with a little bit. And whether that be in a negative light or in a positive light. But when I remember being in high school, right? And whoever I would hang out with at the time, I would eventually be very influenced to becoming almost just like whatever they were trying to present themselves as. Whether they were gangbangers, whether they were, I don't know, weirdos, whatever it was, right? I was involving myself in these things, and then it ended me with getting in trouble a lot of times, really. I remember I had this friend, right? He's a cool dude, one of my closest friends I had. But I just remember, like, he would always invite me out to, let's go do this, right? And he was a painter, and I was a so-called painter, right? And I always like, nah, I don't want to go out. I'm cool. And I was more scared of getting in trouble, right? And facing my mom and my dad. And so I remember I always made some excuse or whatever, right? Some white excuse. And then I remember one time he told me, no, let's go here. I'm going to go hit up this wall, blah, 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 right? I'm going to go get up. And I remember I was just like, nah, I made up some excuse, didn't go. And then like 3 days passed, right? I didn't see him at school. And I was the only place I seen him. And I texted him, like, yo, where you been at? And he was like, oh, yeah, I'm good. Just been busy, blah, blah, right? I'm like, busy, bro? You gotta come to school, you know? Oh, you're being super a good boy, right? And so I remember he got to school, and I seen him, and he had a busted lip, he had a black eye, and his head, like the side of his head was swollen. He said, nice. It was swollen, and so I was like, bro, what the heck happened to you? And he was like, oh, yeah, you know, remember how I told you I was going to go paint, blah, 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 right? And so what he did was, I guess he crossed some dude out, and, you don't do that, right? It's a diss or whatever, it's disrespectful. And so whoever he crossed out, they seen him. They caught him alone, and then like 4 of them, right, they jumped him. And and so he was like, yeah, man, bro, good thing you didn't go. And I'm like, yeah, thank God I didn't go, right? Thank God I did not go. And so, but, realizing that I said no, I didn't go, and that was the wise choice, right? I remember this other time, we went to an assembly, and, we're in high school, so they don't have to walk you there. Your teachers don't got to walk you there. They trust you enough to go to the assembly, come right back to class. And so this time, when I went, we left the assembly, and he was like, hey, let's just skip class. And I'm like, no, man, I gotta go back to biology or whatever, right? And he's like, nah, man, don't be lame, blah, blah, blah. So here I am, right, him in my ear, and I'm like, all right, bro, let's just skip. So we skipped class, and which was, I don't even think I had done before, and I was like super like nervous or sketched out, right? After like 5 minutes, I was like, all right, this is cool, whatever, right? We're just chilling or whatnot. So we were just walking around the halls, and then we run into like another 2 people we knew. And then, so now it's 4 of us, right? And then we run into like another 4 people, and now there's like 8 of us. And then all of a sudden there's 10 of us. And then we're just walking down the halls, and then I hear someone say, hey, don't move. Stay right there. And I turn around, and then when I turn around, I see a security guard walking towards us, and then I see the tardy officer walking towards us, and she's the one that yelled, don't move. And so here I am, right? I turn back around, I see half the dudes left, they all ran, and here I am standing there, right? And she goes, it's like maybe like 3 of us that stayed, the rest just ran. And so she comes up to us, and you know, she was a little like scrawny lady, and she just came up to us, and she was like, what are your names? Give me your ID, your school ID. And with your school ID, you need your ID to go in, if not they give you such a hard time, right? And so I gave it to her, and she was like, come pick these up during lunch, go back to class. I'm like, all right. So here I am, I'm going back to class, and I'm just like stressing about having to get my ID back. So I go back to her office during lunch, and she's like, why did you skip? I'm like, I don't know, I was just being stupid. Like, I was being dumb. And so she was like, yeah, very stupid, very dumb. I'm like, all right. And then she gave back my ID, and she said, all right, I may or may not call your parents, but expect that call. I'm like, here we go. And so here I am, right? For like 2-3 weeks, stressing, just waiting for this lady to call my parents. And I'm just waiting for my dad to like come home one day and be like, why did this lady call me, blah, blah, right? And that never happened. But that never happened, but it could have been avoided, right? It could have been avoided. I could have just said no and kept my butt in class. But I realized that, right? That saying no, right, is making a wise decision at times, right? You can say no. You can say no. And that's one of the things that I was told when I first came to church, right? And like the first year is I was told you don't have to be around certain things, right? Because, you know, freshly being saved and going to family functions and parties and all this, right? And there may be drinking, there may be smoking, right? And that's all around you. And that's what they told me. You don't have to be there. You don't have to go. You don't have to surround yourself around those types of people, even if they are family, unfortunately, right? Because it doesn't even have to be that they're smoking or drinking. It could be that they are just the type to bring you down, right? And try to take the joy out of what God has already instilled in you. Right. And it sucks, right? But it's very important to realize that you can say no. You can avoid these things, right? And it's important to have the armor of God. Come on. Amen. It's important to have the armor of God at all times. At all times to have the armor of God. You never know when you have to defend yourself from things like that, right? Proverbs chapter 27, verse 12 says, the prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. How many of you guys know that I paid the penalty, right? When I was stressing for like 3 weeks waiting for this call that never happened, right? But I could have said no, I could have avoided it. Just recently, and this is it, right? Because God will help you out in certain situations, and He will let you know, and He will warn you in case the enemy tries it, right? In case the enemy tries it, like for example, right? I was at work, literally a couple days ago. I was at work, and this guy comes to pay his unit and whatnot. And so here I am telling him, well, it's going to be this much. And he tells me, no, that's completely wrong. I paid so long ago. And I'm like, no, this is what it says. So I started looking through all the books. I started looking through all the receipts. And here I am. And I usually don't stress about this stuff because I'm like, it usually pops up and I find it. And, you know, it's usually not a big deal. And this time, it was like in the back of my head all day. And I struggled to find what it was. And the reason why I struggled so bad is because he presented to me a screenshot. And he's like, this is what you told me. And I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, I remember writing that. Like, that's crazy, dang. So I'm over here looking for the resolution, right? And so finally, I remembered, oh wait, I have his number. So I put in his number, and I was able to find the original text. And the original text, it didn't say what his showed me. I mean, it was similar, but it had the same timestamp, same date, and everything of when I sent it. He just modified it. He modified it, and he was trying to jip me for like $800, right? And I'm like, nah, bro. So I texted him, and this guy just said, oh, okay, thank you. Like, who accepts it, right? You know, who accepts that? And so, yeah, but I already knew, God was already letting me know, like, no, there's something you got to figure out here. And praise God, I did. Now, how many guys know that we can either avoid red flags or we become red flags? Come on. So, I listed a couple of red flags, and we're going to try to go through them together. But I listed a couple of red flags. It's like 5 of them. We're just going to go through them. Number 1 is always worrying about things that are out of your control. Always worrying about things that are out of your control. And I've talked about this before, right? If it's out of your control and you're worrying about it, then there might be a lack of trust for God, right? If it's out of your control, then most likely it's in God's control. Amen. Matthew chapter 6, verse 27 says, can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? This is one of those verses that really helped me when I was struggling in my own head, right? Because it's true. It does nothing for you to worry. All you do is really, it's like silently killing you, right? The way you worry about things. Number 2 is constant lying. Constant lying. Come on, how many of you guys know that lying is a big red flag? Right. I want to know actually, why do you guys think it's a big red flag? Because what? You're not supposed to. Okay. You're not supposed to. Because Satan is the father of lies. Yes. See, trust is lost when you're lying, right? Trust is lost between a relationship when you're caught lying. If lying doesn't make you uncomfortable, that is also a red flag, right? You should feel a little bit ashamed of lying, right? When you're lying, you're bringing up these little... If it doesn't make you feel a certain type of way, you got to check your heart, right? Because there's something wrong there. And how many of you guys know that lying is exhausting, right? It's exhausting because you got to work at maintaining a lie. Example, I was like 10, 11 years old, right? And I went to my cousin's house, and my cousin was like, we were just talking about video games, and he was like, oh, I'm going to go to the shop, blah, 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 you want to come with me? I was like, yeah, let's go. He was older than me. And he was like, I'll buy you a video game. I was like, oh, dope. So I told my mom, he's going to take me to go buy a video game. And she was already like, what video game are you going to get? I'm like, I don't know. And I knew exactly what video game I was going to get. I knew I wanted, if you guys know, Grand Theft Auto. I wanted Grand Theft Auto so bad. I wanted it so bad because the only time I got to play was when I was at my cousin's house. And so we went to this GameStop, I think GameStop. And I already went knowing my cousin, what game are you going to get? I'm like, I don't know. You know, we completely know what I'm going to get. And so he's showing me like these games, like racing games or whatnot. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool, but I want that one. And he was like, dude, your mom literally told me not to get you that one before we left. I'm like, dang. So, okay, so I'm like, well, you know, I'm over here negotiating with him. And he's like, all right, look, I'll get it for you, just don't get in trouble. I'm like, all right, cool. So he got it for me. No, and then I get back to my cousin's house, right? My mom's there, and she was like, what game did you get? I'm like, nothing, like, all dumb, right? I didn't know how to. I was like, oh, it's a racing game. And she was like, let me see it. I was like, oh, it's in the car. I'll go get it right now. I should have brought it down. And then I remember even like hiding it in my jacket when we were leaving, and then I dropped it right in front of her. I'm like, dude, I'm so bad at this, right? And then I take it home, and then for like 2 months straight, I'm over here playing this game, just loving it, right? I'm playing this game, but I could only play it whenever I was hiding it, whenever my mom was not around, or if I knew my mom was going to be busy, or I would go and clean the living room, or put away Because then I knew my mom wouldn't come looking for me because I had done something, or, you know. And so I remember that's the only time I got to play it. And then one day she just walked into my room, saw me playing. She's like, "What game are you playing?" And I'm where you're like shooting people in the game, right? And she's like, "Is that the game I told you not to get?" And I'm like, "Oh, no." So yeah, all this happened, right? She took it away from me. And then I got it back. But not because she gave it to me, but because I went looking for it, right? And then when I started playing it again, I accidentally messed it up somehow. I like scratched it. And it wasn't my mom because it was working like for a day or two. And then I accidentally like moved my Xbox and it just messed up the disc. And then it messed up the disc and then I couldn't play no more. So I think you guys know, God was already like, yeah, you shouldn't be playing this. And so that just sucked. But lying, right? The whole time I was trying to maintain this lie that it was just hard to maintain. It was exhausting. And sometimes we go through these things, right? And I don't know. I was going to say, we lie. I hope not. I hope we don't lie. But it is exhausting trying to maintain a lie. Number 3, manipulation. Right? I want to know, what does manipulation look like to you guys? If anybody would like to answer, manipulation. Before you guys do, actually, I have one. Right? The main thing, right, is when someone uses guilt, right, to control you. Manipulation, when someone uses guilt to control you. And for the most part, it's a selfish act, right? It's a selfish act. Does anybody have anything? Manipulation? Before I move on to my next. All right. 1 Kings chapter 13. We're going to read in this this passage real quick. So just a little backstory, right? In 1 Kings chapter 13, Jeroboam, I think that's how you say it, Jeroboam, is a king at this point, right? He's a king, and so he started kind of going into his little wicked ways. And so God sent a man of God to go and send a message to Jeroboam. And so he goes, he gives a message, and then eventually the king talks to him, and he says, and this is chapter 13, verse 7. Then the king said to the man of God, "Come to the palace with me and have something to eat, and I will give you a gift." But the man of God said to the king, "Even if you gave me half of everything you own, I would not go with you. I would not eat or drink anything in this place, for the Lord gave me this command. You must not eat or drink anything while you are there, and do not return to Judah by the same way you came." So he left Bethel and went home another way. And so he goes on his way, right? And then there's this old prophet that comes in, right? He comes home, I believe, from work or whatever he's doing. And then his 2 sons, they tell him, "Hey, did you hear about this prophet?" And so I guess like maybe in excitement, he goes out and he's like, "Which way did he go?" So he goes out to look for him. He looks for him, he finds him under a tree. And then it says he starts talking to the man of God. And he says, 15, he says, "Then he said to the man of God, 'Come home with me and eat some food.' And so the man of God replies, 'No, I cannot. I am not allowed to eat or drink anything here in this place, for the Lord gave me this command. You must not eat or drink anything while you are there, and do not return to Judah by the same way you came.' But the old prophet answered, 'I am a prophet too. Listen close, right? I am a prophet too, just as you are. And an angel gave me this command from the Lord. Bring him home with you so he can have something to eat and drink.' But the old man was lying to him. So they went back together, and the man of God ate and drank at the prophet's home." So I'm going to stop right there. Did anybody catch a red flag in that passage? No. So he says, "I am a prophet too," right? "Just as you are." And he says, "And an angel gave me this command from the Lord." And an angel gave me this command from the Lord. When God had already commanded the man of God, right? Straight from the source, right? Straight from the source, he already told him what not to do. Now this guy comes and he lies to him and tells him, "Oh, well, an angel told me that God told," So that red flag. And so he takes him home, takes him to go eat, right? And then while eating, God speaks or gives a command to the old prophet. And so basically what he tells him is to tell this man of God that he has defied him. And so after the man of God, it says right here, after the man of God had finished eating and drinking, the old prophet saddled his own donkey for him, and the man of God started off again. But as he was traveling along, a lion came out and killed him. His body lay there on the road with the donkey and the lion standing beside it. And what's crazy about this passage, I don't know if you guys realize it, right, is that the lion killed him, and the lion was then just standing there with the donkey right next to him, the body there. And the Bible doesn't say that the lion ate the guy. It doesn't say that he ate the donkey, just that he killed him, and then he just stood there. And I don't know, it's just a crazy thing to see, right? But then so the old prophet hears about this, and he goes out and he finds his body, and then buries him, right? Or sends him to get buried, and then he says he wants to be buried with him. He even mourns, right? And what's crazy is that he mourns, and then I don't know if you realize it or not, but it was literally because of his lie that this man of God died, right? Otherwise, he should have seen the red flags. Unfortunately, he didn't, and it costed him his life, right? But I would have felt guilty as heck knowing that, man, I just killed this guy with my lie, you know? And I don't know if it kind of leads me to the next one, right? But no accountability, right, is number 4. No accountability. I mean, I've never been wrong, but I know some of you guys have. No, I'm just kidding. But no accountability, right, is another red flag, which looks like you can never take responsibility, right? Or people can't take responsibility for their actions. They come up with excuses, or it's always someone else's fault. That's no accountability. So I want to ask you guys, where do you guys think that might stem or that might root from? I have the answer. You guys would like to. It's pride, right? It comes from pride. It roots from pride. See, how many of you guys know that there's no room to grow if you can't accept your wrongs, right? There's no room to grow because then you're just filled with all this, I don't know, you're just filled with a bunch of no-nos, I don't know. But it's a red flag. You're filled with all these red flags, right? You can't make room for God to grow and work in you. Does that make sense? All right, so the next set of red flags, the other red flags are more red flags that you can see in other people, right? You can see it in other people, right? And other people might point it out at you, right? But this next, I kind of listed it as hidden red flags. Hidden red flags. These are red flags that we may have in our own that only maybe we can determine if we have them or not. Number 1 is, and I wrote it as, it's bitterness, not discernment. It's bitterness, not discernment, right? Because sometimes we can speak on emotion, right? We can speak on emotion, and it's all emotion controlling our judgment, right? We are critical. We become critical, and so a lot of the times it's because there's unresolved issues between yourself and something or someone, right? And so that's bitterness, right? Bitterness. And just because you guard your heart, right, doesn't mean that you have it guarded with God's word, you know, or by the right things. You might have it guarded with something else. Number 2 is it's laziness, not waiting on God. And Brother Rich kind of spoke on this a little bit, right? But it's avoiding responsibility, right? When there's things to do, and you know, you say, oh, I'm waiting on God. It's this season or whatever, right? But sometimes it could be straight up that we're just avoiding responsibility. Number 3, it's performative, not genuine. It's performative, not genuine, right? And so this is when you're only praising God when someone is watching, when you want to be seen, right? So it's all a show. That's performative, right? That's not genuine. And that's only between you and God. If God will know if it's all a show or not, right? Number 4, avoiding difficult conversations. This is one that I had to swallow, and it was a hard one to swallow, right? Because avoiding difficult conversations, right? It's either peacekeeping or you're peacemaking, right? And peacekeeping if you don't know, is trying to keep the peace that is already there, despite there already being some type of conflict or situations on the side, right, that you're choosing not to confront. Now, peacemaking is you're actually going out there and you're trying to resolve the issues that there are in order to make peace, right? In order to make peace. Now, a lot of times we're stuck peacekeeping, just keeping and going with the flow, just to not ruffle any feathers, right? Peacekeeping. Now, number 5 is envy and jealousy. Envy and jealousy. Who's jealous here? Oh, you guys are liars. Envy and jealousy. But, quick story, right? The other day, my wife and I were at Costco. And so I was in line waiting for my chicken bake or whatnot. And so, why is that so funny? So I was waiting for my chicken bake, and then my wife had my daughter in the car, and she was waiting on the side. And then she'd seen an old friend seen her. And so he went up to her, and he worked there. And hold on. Stop it. So I beat him up. No, I'm just kidding. No, so my wife was just inviting him to church, like, and all this, right? And I see my daughter turn and look at me, and then from across the room where she was at, I'm in line, right? And she's like, she tilts her head, she looks at me, she's like, don't be jealous, in front of the guy too. Don't be jealous, Dad. He's just a friend. I'm like, I wasn't jealous until you said that. Now I feel like I should worry. But yeah, but what does envy and jealousy look like to you guys? Would anybody like to? Oh, okay, I said like that. What did you say? Like? Hating. Okay. Hating. Yes. Lonely. Oh, that's an interesting one.
Being a critic.
Being a critic. Okay.
For jealousy.
Yeah, for jealousy or envy.
Insecure.
Yes. Well, that's actually exactly what I have written down. All the answers. But I also wrote it down as secret competition, right? You start to compete with your brother or your sister, and you start to, in your own head, right? Because your brother or your sister may not even know this is going on, and you know, you're on one-on-one with this person. Which is all whack, right? Another way is downplay, right? You're downplaying people's success. You're downplaying people's success, and so you're not, how do you say it? You're not happy for them, right? You're not happy for them. You're just saying, being all types of hate, like, doing that haterade, right? Like, what he did was okay, you know, it was cool. What she did was all right. Like, I could have done that, right? That's downplaying other people's success. Getting upset at other people's success, right? If it genuinely brings you some type of, like, hurt that someone is succeeding at something, that's a red flag. Like, you should get checked for that, right? That's a red flag. Or being happy at people's failures. That's a little more twisted, right? Being happy if someone failed, that's a little upsetting, right? But yeah, I put down the root as insecurity. But the better a relationship we have with Christ, the more a red flag we become to the enemy. So I'm going to say that again. The better a relationship we have with Christ, the more a red flag we become to the enemy. So the other day, I brought it up during the offering last on Sunday, I believe. How, I don't know, Sunday, Wednesday, I don't know. But Brother Stephen, right, and Sister Yali, they put together a little outreach. And so I don't know if they heard it, but I know Brother Rich heard it. When we were walking towards looking for the people who were looking to give the little goodie bags to, when we were walking towards them, did you hear when there was a lady, right? And so she was just kind of talking crazy, you know. But she was talking crazy to us. She was just, you know, saying all types of random stuff. And as we're walking towards them, we didn't say, "Oh, we're from a church. We're here on behalf of God or whatnot," right? We just walked towards them, and she said, "Oh, here comes the Holy Spirit again. Here comes the Holy Spirit." And I was like, "Dang, that's crazy. That's actually pretty cool, right?" Knowing that God, how many of you guys know that God is living in us, right? We are made new. Nice. And it was just crazy that we had heard that. But it was cool. But I want to talk about now green flags. Green flags. So what do green flags look like to you guys? I want to hear this. What do green flags look like to you guys? There's no wrong answer. Or I mean, there is, but try to be nice.
Positivity.
Positivity. Okay.
Supportiveness.
Supportiveness.
If that's a word.
Confidence. What do you say? Confidence.
Happiness.
Happiness. Truth telling. Okay. All good answers. All right. Joy. Yes. So first one I wrote is genuine peace. Genuine peace, right? You are not attracted to no drama. You are not. There's no issues whenever you come through, right? Genuine peace. There's calm, right? Despite any situation, there's calmness, right? And it goes even as far as people begin to see that peace, or they begin to feel peace because you're there, right? There's genuine peace when it comes to God. Number two, and this one kind of goes with a couple of them, but maturity. Maturity is another green flag, right? You're thinking before you're speaking. You're able to accept your wrongs. You're able to apologize, and a lot of it, right? It's not just age and maturity, right? But it's spiritual growth as well. Number three is, and it kind of goes with maturity, but you can accept correction, right? You have that teachable spirit on you. You can accept correction. And you're showing a willingness to grow. Another thing is you're not offended easily, right? So someone can bring something up to you and just kind of, just give a little pointers, right? And you won't take it offensive because you know that it's only to benefit you, right, in the long run. Number four is they serve, which is opposite to one of the red flags, right? Or direct opposite. They serve without needing attention. They serve without needing attention, right? They're quietly serving, right? They're faithful to serving, right? And there's no need for praising, right? There's no need for praising. We don't got to give you applause if you're cleaning the toilets or mopping or whatever the case is, right? There's no need for it. There's no praise. Brother Richie talked about how Pastor A was out there alone trying to clean the toilets, and like, bro, don't do that. Pastor, don't do that. We got people for that, right? But you guys know Pastor A wasn't looking for the praise.
Right.
Right? Number five, supporting others' growth, right? Which is opposite to jealousy and envy. Supporting others' growth, right? Being genuinely happy for others, even not in their downtime, but just being genuinely happy even in their success or whatnot. Number six, and this is the last one here. Number six is integrity. And if I can have someone have the PowerPoints ready, please. I don't think it's back there. But integrity, right? You're doing the right thing when no one's watching. It goes with all the rest, right? Doing the right thing when no one's watching. And you're being the same person everywhere you go, right? You're the same person here at church as you are at the family party, as you are, right? You're not drinking at home and coming and doing this, right? And serving. You're not cussing up a storm at wherever you are at school or whatnot, right? And then coming here and then acting like a saint, right? You're the exact same person, the same exact person you are here, the same exact person you should be at home, wherever you go, right? Especially to continue to keep your testimony intact. Come on. Now, what they wrote here is green flags don't mean you're perfect, right? They are a representation of what God has done in your life, right? Green flags don't mean you're perfect. They're just a representation of what God has done in your life. Now, that's kind of where the sermon ends, but I have a little bit of an activity for you guys. Again, this is red flags versus green flags, right? So I just kind of want to know your guys' opinions on some of these. And the first one is, and you guys tell me if it's a red flag or a green flag. They tell you what you want to hear every... I didn't write that right. They tell you what you want to hear all the time. Every time, all the time.
Green flag.
Huh?
Green flag. Red flag. Come on.
Wait, you said green flag? I don't remember what I wrote down for this one, but I want to hear it.
It's red.
Red. Okay. You said green though.
I just playing. Come on.
I don't know. I'm just kidding. Red flag. Why? Okay. I want to know why is it red?
Because you're not a pass. It's a lie. You want to
the truth is the way kind of to shoot you away and not care about you. You know, when you love somebody, you're gonna say, I don't, you know, the way you're talking, that's not healthy. You know, so if it's a red, I mean, I would say yes, red flag, and it's wrong because that means that you don't matter. There you go.
Dang. That's a good one. Wait, Brother Abel, I want to know why are you saying, why is it red?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm looking for the scripture right here.
Okay.
Proverbs 27. It says, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of the enemy are deceitful. If somebody could always just tell you what you want to hear, then it's like, where's the growth?
Right.
Where's the accountability? Where's any of that?
Right.
Like, you need brothers and, sisters. But for
To
the
tell you the
brothers,
truth.
we as brothers, you guys know that we need that sharp to keep us sharp. So don't tell me what I want to hear.
Yeah.
That shows that you ain't my friend.
Right.
That shows that you don't care about me. If I'm going down the dark road and all you're saying is, oh, just pat you on your back and rub your back and you'll be all right.
Yeah. Right.
There's no,
Sister Jenny.
Or it also could be like maybe they already know how you would react if they told you the truth. So
Ooh.
it could be.
And they might not be able to accept it.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Well, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
For sure. Anybody else before we move on to the next one? Oh, Sister Katie.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Would you say that, let's say, like Brother Abel was saying, they're on a dark road and you're not correcting or helping them in any way, would their blood be on your hands if something were to happen to them?
Oh, dang, that's like a heavy question. Huh? I mean, I would honestly, the way it sounds, yes. Because why wouldn't you tell someone you love the truth, right? Even if it hurts. Yeah. Oh, we don't need. I'm just kidding. All right. Anybody else before we move on to the next one? All right, next one. They don't post their relationships online.
Well, it could be either or.
Not the secret.
It could be either or.
Yeah.
Where you picking, Gil?
You mean secretive?
No, they just don't post them online.
Nah, it's you don't want nobody in
I mean, it
business.
could be like.
It's either or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either or.
You know what? Honestly, it's nobody's business if
Tell
I'm
us
in a
what it is.
relationship or
Tell
not.
us what it is.
Brother Rich, real quick.
Okay, I have mine. This is what I think, honestly. I think if you're posting everything else about your life, and you're not posting your relationship, that's a red flag. But if you're kind of careless about your social media, you got pictures from 2012, then to me it's not a big deal.
Right.
Good answer. Brother Abel. Same thing? All right.
I think
Yes.
so too. It's a red flag because if you're married, you have no business just putting pictures of yourself, and that's how affairs start.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, looking back at it, talking about Romans 8:28.
Right? And you're married.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes what people do is that they don't put their spouse because they're really fetching for attention from others.
Yes.
And a spouse is going to kind of shoo people away. So I think it's very unhealthy. And if you're married, you should have pictures of you and your spouse. I'm not saying everyone has to be your spouse, but you should be able to see a page and know that they're married.
Yeah.
Did you guys know? So I want to kind of want to know what you guys think. Did you guys know that there's a statistic that says that I think it's like 80% of people who don't post their spouse are in a happier relationship? I just wonder what you guys think about that.
Happy relationship with who?
Are they married?
Married. Yeah.
I've seen that.
You've seen that, right? Something of the sort.
A happy relationship with their spouse or someone else?
I know.
Oh, it is.
Because I know people.
At
Yeah.
that point, right?
Well, because at the end you're gonna have haters no matter what.
I think both this day and age, like this era, it's definitely a red flag if they're not posting their spouse.
Yeah.
kids, but not their husband.
Acting like single parents
Yeah,
out there.
But what if he's ugly?
Oh yeah, what about that? No, I'm just kidding. Sister said there's filters. Yeah. All right. So I think we agreed, right? Red flag. Oh yeah, yes. Yes.
When they start posting them, it's like because they found out that they were cheating.
Oh
Yeah.
I've seen that happen a lot.
Right? Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah. Sheesh.
After the affair, then all of a sudden they want to put the spouse.
Yeah. Oh damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I
Can I
just,
say something?
Of course.
It's just more relating to my life.
Yeah.
I think in the beginning of my relationship, I was posting because we were happy and stuff like that. And then I think towards the end, it just became about my kids. Towards the end, it wasn't because we're happy or because things were working out. I think it's just more of a, in the beginning, things were good, and we were happy with most of the pictures. And then towards the end, it was just about the kids. And then I think at that time, with
Not posting. It was just more of a.
It was just kids. Like we weren't posting each other. I wasn't posting her. She wasn't posting me. So I think it was just more of like everybody's correct. You know what I mean? It's something else might be going on, or something else might be, or no, they're not happy. It doesn't have to be like a cheating situation. It could have been just, they're not happy in their relationship. You know what I mean? So I think that for me in my situation, that's what it was. It was just more of a, we were happy in the beginning, and then towards the end, it was just like there was no happiness. You know what I mean? Get you. Yeah. All good answer, guys. Anybody else before we move on?
I feel like you're just telling us what we want to hear.
State your opinion, brother.
They hold you accountable.
Green flag.
Green flag. Green flag. Why? I'm just kidding. All right, good one. We go to the next one, please. They say God knows my heart. Red flag? Red flag? Why?
Because he knows the good and the bad.
Okay, he knows the good and the bad.
that's the way you tell people mind your own business.
Yeah, for real.
Nanya.
Well, God knows my heart, so.
I think it's also
That's how you tell people.
it's
Get out
also
of my
because
business.
they try to use God to
Right? Almost manipulative
they
in a way.
what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Anybody else? No? Alright, we can move on to the next one. Red flag, right? That was a red flag?
No. Oh, is that the other one?
The other one. Yeah. Was it red flag?
No, not bad.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, yeah. They are very confident. So this one I kind of asked my wife when we were a little like split, but I don't know. They are very confident.
This is going to be a tough one, but I will say it's green flag.
Yeah.
I would say it's a green flag with the godly fruit to back it up.
A green flag? Wait, can you repeat that?
Yeah, I would say it's a green flag because it's okay to be confident. You're confident in Christ, and that brings a confidence in you. But to me, I would have to see godly fruit with it. Like, you're bold, you're confident.
Yeah.
I love it. That's a good thing because God wants us to be confident. But if you're godly and you produce that, that's a good
Right,
thing.
they should all go hand in hand with what you're speaking with.
But then there's
I understand.
cockiness.
There you go.
There's cockiness, which is a little different, has a little pride, a little arrogance. That's, it's tainted, it's twisted. But I would say confident. That's like,
All right. Anybody else?
But if you're cocky and you're arrogant or whatever, but you can still back it up, is that still wrong?
Ooh.
Like, because we can
Hey,
talk
it's a
about
slippery
about
slope.
playing ball. No, we could. But it's like, okay, when we get on the field, it's like, but I can back it up.
What do they cheat though? No, I was kidding. It still hurt. Dang, is that wrong?
I mean, if you went over.
But is that cockiness or is that confidence though? Because of what you can back up.
They're saying that cockiness and confidence and arrogance is pretty much all the same, right?
No, because
No.
pride.
No.
Because of pride, right?
Right, I think pride has to play in
But
one of those.
Yeah.
if you're able to back up your pride,
It's arrogant. That's pride. Yeah.
Arrogance.
That's
I mean,
confidence. Pride.
sports is
The
sports.
difference is one, God is the root, the other one, you are the root. And I think that's
I like that answer. That's a good. That's what you want to say something?
Same.
All right. Brother Richard.
All right, this is what I think, truthfully. I think your confidence is going to be based on what you believe to be true, right? So if there's no confidence and you're trying to fake it, it'll show because deep down you don't believe that. But this is what I think the difference between arrogance and confidence is. I think confidence is seeing clearly the situation, and I think arrogance is
Being blurred.
believing who you are, right? But there's blinders on you.
Uh-huh.
Remember we were talking the other day at the men's Bible study about Samson? And he was arrogant, but he could back up his get down, right? But he became so arrogant that he became blinded to things. And I think arrogance is blindness infused with confidence to a degree.
So you're just talking confident. I said you're good.
So is that a red flag?
No. Because it's not arrogance.
That's right.
There is an example of skydivers. For instance, they pack their own parachute. They don't rely on somebody else to do it. They have to be confident enough to know what they're doing, but humble enough to receive something when it says, "Hey, this doesn't look right." You know, because what they do is that before they jump out of the airplane, they turn around and have the guy behind them like, "Okay, check it out. Is it working? Yeah, it's fine." And if somebody says, "Hey, this is somebody," you can't. That confidence cannot overcome that humility of when somebody tells you something. Like you can tell me, man, you know, yeah, I read all these books and everything. I said, "That's great, man. I'm glad you read all those books. I'm glad you're a theologian." But how is it an application in your life? And with the confidence comes some kind of humility where you're still able to receive, but you know that you did your work. So, you know, if they're very confident, chances are they're not really able to hear any kind of criticism that will even help them. And come to a sense where that's when, like Eddie said, when pride comes before downfall. You know, because that's not confidence anymore, it's arrogance. And it's a thin line because you're so confident you don't want to hear the other person, even if it's for your own good. Right. Confidence is good, man. Man, when you guys play ball, man, it's great to hear smack talk. But in all situations, really, in a battlefield, man, am I confident that you're going to be there with me? Or am I going to have doubts because you don't even know what a rifle is? You know, so confidence is good, but there has to be a mix of humility there to receive.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Sister.
I just wanted to add to that, and the reason why, like, Brother Abel was saying to back it up, so is it, you know, a red flag or green flag? But with that, because I just looked up the definition, you start to look down on others when you have that mindset. So I do think that is a red flag, even when you can back it up, because now you're exaggerating, you know, your own abilities, and now you're just looking down on people.
That makes sense.
You know, because you're better.
What if you're at war with them?
What if you're at war with them?
When you're on the other team. Well, those are just jokes. Like, they're like.
You gotta be realistic, though. Right?
You know? On that kickoff.
I think for the record, we're talking about sports, so it's okay to look down upon another person, knowing that.
Yeah.
I mean, and besides sports, I mean, yes, it's red flag. But with sports, I don't think that's a red flag. You either man up or you step aside.
Okay.
You know,
Interesting. All right, let's go ahead and move over to the next one. They still follow their ex on social media. I got a message today.
Red flag.
That's crazy.
I think
Why? I'm just kidding.
you said green.
You said green flag? Okay.
I love. He's just trying to stir us up.
It still leaves the door open.
Leaves the door open.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
For me, like, I don't follow exes on social media.
Yeah.
Because that's just, I don't know.
Right, it's almost like.
Then in my
But then I think it's a red flag because, like she said, it's an open door. It's free access.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right. Brother A1, I'll come right back to you.
So that's brown flag.
A brown flag.
Don't play. Leave it alone.
What if you're posting like all Christian stuff and you're trying to get your ex saved? What if you're like using your social media to glorify God
Now,
to get your ex saved?
now, are you in a relationship or you're
Just
not?
for the record, I don't have social media.
Convince me he does. Sister.
So, why can't you be friends with your ex on social media if neither one of you are in a relationship and you're just friends?
I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, now, I think, are we asking this like we're in a relationship ourselves, or are we not in a relationship? And it's
Nobody's in a relationship and you don't like go on each other's social media like every day or even every week or even every month.
Now, I think if this person was causing you some type of like harm and emotional damage,
Oh, then you get on social media, period. Like, you don't have to be
That
friends
too,
at
yeah.
all. Like, that would be a red flag.
I think an ex is an ex. Smash. Leave it alone. No more.
Okay.
Leave it in the past.
Somebody answer that.
Like my mom said, I think it's about forgiveness and also maturity.
Yes.
You gotta be able to
separate.
I think if there's still feelings, for sure, you should not be connected in no way. Because you're going to be nosy. You're going to be keeping up with who they're keeping up with, what they're posting. You're going to be doing your background checks, who they're talking to, what are they following. And when you're obsessed like that, you need to be completely cut off. I don't think that, I think you're lying to yourself to say that we can just be friends. No, you're still trying to stay connected. No, they're an ex for a reason. You know, move on. But if you're nosy, you're gonna be doing all those background checks, you're unhealthy. You're unhealthy and you're lowering yourself to a place that you don't belong in. Get help. But I mean, if it was like, oh, you know, somebody you were with, I don't know, when you were in high school, and unless you're right, it's like that's not an ex no more. But a lot of people are getting divorced because, you know, you all of a sudden think, I could go back with that guy that I was with in high school, and people are connecting through social media. They're being nosy. They're looking up people they shouldn't be looking up, and trying to hook up, befriending, you know, old boyfriends, girlfriends, and a lot of them are leaving their spouses. So I think that if you have an issue, don't even get on social media. If, you know, you really have to be intentional. You got to be intentional to say, I need to guard my eyes. I need to guard my heart. And you got to be real with yourself. But I think, I don't think it's healthy.
My sister, you know,
Okay, I'm sorry. Just to add on to what she said, like, I feel like